Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to our half-hour focus on Southern Wesleyan University sports. I'm Dan Scott. We're very happy to have you with us here. You're listening on 1580 WDAB and Travelers Rest, and of course, you're watching the video here on the school website. Second episode, still do not have an official name, but as we mentioned last week, that's all going to be part of a big student contest once they are fully back on campus, and I know the folks around here will have some fabulous prizes to give away to whoever that winner is. You've noticed we've also changed the set to a certain degree. Like we told you we would last week, we discovered it in the middle of the conversation last week that, hey, instead of being over there, it might look pretty good over here with the big desk and just move in the background. Anyway, our first guest on the program today is Garrett Berline, who is the literally brand new soccer coach for the men's program here at Southern Wesleyan. Was hired in June of 2016, and we're going to spend the first part of the program getting to know a little bit about Garrett and get a little bit of a season's preview coming up as the Warriors prepare for their opener. Garrett, first of all, it's good to have you with us. Good to have you here at Southern Wesleyan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Talk about your journey here. We'll go through your resume perhaps in a bit, but you were hired in June. Talk about the process. What drew you to Southern Wesleyan? What drew the school to you perhaps? And how did the two meet?
Sure. I had some connections to the university through some mutual friends. Really kind of kept an eye on Southern Wesleyan all along my coaching and playing career. Kind of really thought it was going to be a diamond in the rough at some point. Just needed some polish, and when I saw that it became available, was unsure that it was be the right place for me, but things fell into place, and this is definitely where I feel I'm supposed to be at home.
And you came here from Indiana University, Purdue University, and Indianapolis. So immediately you've gotten much better weather in the wintertime.
Yes, no doubt.
than Indianapolis. But you've been an assistant coach at Wheaton College in Illinois. You have helped develop a number of highly successful soccer players, one who's playing professionally right now, in fact. So even at what appears to be a very young age, you've got a lot of experience under your belt already.
Sure. I mean, it's nice to be able to work with high-level players who are motivated, some in the MLS, some in Sweden, some in NASL and USL in different parts of the world. It really comes down to the people and their work ethic, and I'm just grateful they've been part of what they're doing.
I asked Mike Gillespie a little earlier before we started recording, I asked you when you first walked in the door, the Wheaton College caught my attention. Perhaps the most famous alum in the history of Wheaton College is a guy who's got a library named after him there, right?
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah, Billy Graham. I think most people recognize that name just like that. Let's get back to you though, and your career. Talk about your playing career and what you were able to accomplish there, and then what drew you into coaching.
Yeah, I grew up in Marion, Indiana. Had an opportunity to go play at Bowling Green State University in Ohio. In between the summers of playing there at that level, I had the opportunity to serve with the Chicago Eagles, with Missionary Athletes International. Traveled to Brazil, ran camps in the Midwest, played against various teams at different levels, from church teams all the way to pro teams throughout the summer. Really just used soccer as a platform to share the gospel and to partner with churches. Yeah,
I was going to say, I see the Christian influence kind of flowing through everything that you've done.
Yes, no doubt. The Lord works in great ways, and I think it's interesting to look back and see where you were 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and kind of see how He was shaping you through different coaches, and that's kind of what I want to do here, is just be available, be that resource to the guys that we have here, that future players will come into the program, and the alumni to all get on board and just be a part of developing fine young men with Christian character.
Did you have a goal in mind for what your career might look like, and then how did God maybe change that, or has He changed it at all?
I grew up in an athletic family. My father was an athletic director at a number of different universities, so I've always been around college athletics. It was kind of going back to my roots, I guess, to go to the small liberal arts Christian college level. And I just feel really comfortable here. I feel like this is an environment where I can call home, that where I can be somewhere for a long time, put down deep roots in the community, and try to grow and build on something special that Coach Rodriguez has built, and the legacy that he has left is tremendous, and I hope I can honor that in the same way.
The challenge you have in coming into a program, really some cases, you'd say relatively late, getting hired in June with the season starting in late August, early September. It is trying to assess everything there is, not just players, but assess everything that goes into a program. Talk about that process for you.
Sure. I mean, the state that the program is in was tremendous. Like I said, the previous coaching staff, Coach Camilo, Coach Peterson, Dr. Schleifer, and the players have high expectations, and they expect to do well on the field, off the field, in the classroom. So in some ways, the foundation is already there. It's just trying to find the holes or the cracks, or seeing how we can make it just that much better, and really take Southern Wesleyan into the Division II in the NCAA, carry on the same success that they had at the NCCAA level.
Yeah, that's the big charge you have, and something of a historic moment for this school. You'll be the first coach of this soccer program in the Division II era for Southern Wesleyan, so there's that little bit of history involved as well.
Yeah, it is humbling. I'm grateful to Dr. Brockington, Dr. Voss, Mr. Williams for giving me the opportunity. Like I said, I just want to do a good job, make it the best possible experience for the players, have success on and off the field, and I think we'll accomplish that if we're going in the right direction.
So let's talk a little bit about the team, and how much have you been able to assess what you have coming back. Looking at the notes we were given here, you do have seemingly a nice core group of kids coming back, but how much have you been really able to assess the talent level here?
Well, we've had 2 training sessions now over the past 24 hours, and a fitness assessment just to get a baseline reading on all the guys, and now we're kind of getting into some of our defensive concepts. The core is there. They're learning me, I'm learning them. It's a great big learning process right now, but they're very open to it, and they're looking forward to pushing forward.
What about the recruiting process coming in this late?
It happens. I guess there's never a good time to transition to a new program. There's never a good time to transition out of a program. But recruiting is ongoing. It never stops. So whether that's for the 2017 class, the 2018 class, just trying to get a handle on what Southern Wesleyan will be like in the Division II landscape, particularly from a recruiting front, finding the right player that fits the university, that can play good soccer, that is willing to be at a committed Christian college, that wants to have a high level of experience on the field and off the field. Those are the guys that we want. You're
coming in at something of a good time, I would imagine, to help recruiting because of the commitment that's being made to facility upkeep or brand new facilities here. So I know from the years of covering Division I college sports at a major level, all the way down to this level, facilities matter.
No doubt they do. And I think Southern Wesleyan has the foundation to be a tremendous institution from an academic standpoint, from an athletic standpoint. The NCAA brand just enhances all of those. From a facility standpoint, the things that they're doing out with the track and soccer complex, with the softball complex and the baseball complex, what they're going to do with the basketball arena, is just going to continue to get better and better and better. And for that to be the doorstep of the university, what athlete wouldn't want to come on campus and see where they go play every weekend?
So let's talk about your roster a little bit here before we run out of time. We mentioned you do have some a core group of experienced players coming back. So who are you going to be relying on?
Sure. The returns provide a lot of leadership. So Fernando Prasada, Nestor Gonzalez, Abraham Arredondo. Trying to think of some of the other guys on the leadership council. Sam Rowden is a great one. Christian Taylor and Ivan Malagom. All those guys come in with the great experience on the field, and they know what it takes to be successful, but also they're willing to engage with the community and are expected to be good ambassadors as well. They're going to contribute on the field. They're going to do what comes naturally to them. It's my job to help put them in those places on the field, so they don't have to do a whole lot of thinking.
What about the learning process, you learning them, but the flip side is they have to learn you, your personality, what you expect of them. That's something, anytime there's a coaching change, there's that unknown.
Right, and it is a learning process, so they need to learn what my expectations are, and I'll learn how to process what they're seeing and how to help put them in the right spots, how to help make them successful. That's my job, and it's going great so far.
All right, so your opener's coming up on September the 1st here against Montreat at home. That's a 7 o'clock start. You're on the road for a couple of games after that, and then back on the 10th and the 14th against Leeds McRae and Bluefield. So 3 of your first 5 are at home, and that'll give your fans a chance to see you early and often.
Yes, no doubt. It'd be great to have everybody come out to the opening match September 1st, 7 p.m. down at Childs Field. I'm looking forward to a great start of the season.
Is there ever enough time to prepare for the opener?
No, definitely not. You can always want more, particularly in the NCAA with the model that they have for Division II. It's not great for preseason, but it is what it is, and everybody's working on the same model, so there's no excuses.
We're looking forward to seeing how the season unfolds, and obviously we'll be talking with you again soon. Garrett, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Garrett Berline, the brand new head coach here at Southern Wesleyan's men's soccer program. For those of you listening on 1580 WDAB, we'll take a break, come back, and be joined by the athletic director, Chris Williams, right after this. Don't go away. We're back on our weekly half-hour focus on Southern Wesleyan sports on 1580 WDAB and here on the school website. I'm Dan Scott, joined now by Chris Williams, the athletic director again. Just a reminder that the shows are going to be archived. I promise they're going to be archived, and you'll be able to catch them, the audio on 1580wdab.com, and of course, go back and watch the videos here on the school website as well. And we're going to try to give them a lot of information, Chris Williams, that makes them want to go back.
That's right.
And see these shows.
Yeah, so SWUathletics.com, and we'll jam it full of stuff.
So no pressure, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Garrett Berline, very good, very impressive, young, and I emphasize young soccer player. I felt really old sitting next to him. Or soccer coach.
Yeah.
There you go. Freudian slip. He looks like a player, right?
He probably could still play. His days back at Bowling Green and his experiences with the Charlotte Eagles or the Chicago branch of that semi-pro team. He looks like he can still get after it, for sure.
Talk about the hiring process and the fact that you have to hire a coach in June for a fall sport kind of puts everybody under the gun, so to speak.
Sure, and our former coach had a great opportunity to kind of move from here at a D2 level to get asked to move down the road at really a top 5 program, NCAA Division I, and you can't blame him for that. So he takes that opportunity, and it does put us in a situation where here we are trying to find someone in the last minute, and God delivered. All of a sudden, through the grapevine of connecting with other people and organizations, Garrett Berline and his connections connected with ours. And here we have this young guy who has had great experience at the D3 level and then at the small D1 level, as well as the semi-pro playing days and his own experiences. It was unbelievable what all the different connection points were. Even back to the days that his dad was former coach at Indiana Wesleyan, our sister school. So all of those ties together weave to get us to this point where he's now leading our men's soccer program.
So what else was it maybe that caused him to stand out above some other candidates who applied for the job?
I think it's his fit with the institution, understanding us as a Wesleyan institution and all that brings with it. His desire to see his kids grow spiritually. He has built in a weekly Bible study where he is asking those from across our community to come and speak to these young men, as well as his tactically and his skill development piece really just fits all together. But his stacking of spiritual development, academic success or preparedness, community service, and then the athletic excellence piece really sandwiched it all together for him.
One of the things that he was very quick to bring out as we were talking a little bit about him and his journey here and his philosophy was his Christian faith and how he incorporated that in everything that he does as a coach at a university like this, which of course is promoting and providing the basis of the gospel and the Christian faith.
Right, so we've talked a lot, even in the last 2 weeks, about moving towards him or chasing after him and him being Christ. Right, and how important that is. And so to have a young man, a young coach like Garrett, be able to follow that up in such a strong, organized, deliberate way, really only emphasized to me that he's the right guy for the job at this time.
And as I mentioned to him in the previous segment, it's a little bit of a historical thing going on here because he now becomes the first men's soccer coach in the Division II era for Southern Wesleyan University.
Right.
Not that that's any added pressure or anything, but as you're making the transition, he just happens to fall into step with that
Sure.
at this time.
Sure, and I see it as an opportunity. I think Garrett sees it as an opportunity, and all of us should see it as an opportunity that here we are on the cusp of our first ever competition as a full and active member of NCAA and Conference Carolinas. You know, I would look at it and go, man, total positive. Let's go get after it, and opportunity is in front of us.
When you as an administrator have to hire a coach this late in the process, there's always the expectations that you put a winning product on the field. But in some sense, does a coach get maybe a bit of a mulligan on the first year because it's been such a handicap, perhaps in recruiting and getting a first freshman class in, because of the timing of this thing?
Yes and no. And I think too, I would take out the winning and losing piece. Sometimes we settle there too much. Is it an important piece of it? Yes. Is it the end all? Is it the end all product that we're looking for? No. And so the spiritual development piece, the really building in and impacting lives, that's what it's all about. So I'm not going to give you a pass on that. The institution's not going to give you a pass on that. The developing of recruiting base and the wins and losses on the field, you know, year one, he's got to get his feet wet. The program has to get used to one another. Sure. Do I think we're going to take a little bit of a dip? I don't, not necessarily. I think we're going to be very competitive. It's going to be a little different now. Like you said, we're full Division II. So now all of those internal, external pressures, expectations are all there. So it's brand new. So I think we're going to really evaluate it from this year going forward.
And the reason that I asked you that question is because I knew what the answer would be, but it was to set up this question that at this level, by and large, yeah, there may be some players that go on to play professionally in some places, but most sports at this level, athletic careers, playing careers, are going to come to an end when their 4 years are up here at Southern Wesleyan or schools like that. So maybe more than any other level of the upper levels I'm talking about, when a coach says we're really working on developing the person, it rings more true here than maybe it does at the old BCS level, we'll say.
Sure, and I think that's really the line that the Division II will really sell, right? And life in the balance, and that we're offering not only sports, but we're offering life. We're connecting the two together, and we're saying all the things that you're learning through your sport, in your sport, while you're playing your sport, the competitions, the highs and lows, it's really life. It's life on the simplest form. And so when you step out from here and you don't get the professional contract, you're already prepared for your career in accounting. You're already prepared for your time frame when you are about to be married. You're prepared to venture out into this, and this. And again, it really showcases into successful students who become successful parents, successful community members, all based upon their experience in athletics.
Sports at its core, if it's done right, and this has been preached for years and years and years, it is a training ground, not just for what happens on the field, but for what happens when you go out into the quote-unquote real world with your job. You're learning to be a good teammate. You're learning how to be a leader. You're learning how to be a subordinate. I mean, there are many facets to sports, when it's done correctly, that transitions into the real world.
You're learning how to take defeat, because every day in the real world, you don't get everything you want. I imagine you've been down some of those roads where you didn't get everything you want.
Oh, baby, 30 minutes ain't going to contain that. But no, it's true, and I think as you know, I've gotten to spend more time over the past few years with you and some other folks at smaller colleges. It kind of gives you a different view on things when you've been dealing for the most part for a decade or so with what's going on at the Division I upper levels. It's really good to see the foundation that's being built here.
Yeah, and we're not saying there's anything wrong with the BCS and even the FCS. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is a place for this.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, as we watch the Olympics, really what I would consider the purest form of sport, the jubilation, but also all of the things that happen before that to get to this moment. Even the guy last night for France who was disqualified because the false started, the highs and lows, all the stuff that happened before that's what really got those people to that point. And that's what sport does for us, each of us, whether we're parents, student athletes, coaches. It's building us for all those experiences that we have in life every single day.
We need to take a break for our radio listeners. We'll come back with the final segment. We're going to talk about some of the facility upgrades that are going on here on the campus of Southern Wesleyan when our program continues. Final segment right after this. We are back with a final segment of our focus on Southern Wesleyan University sports here on 1580 WDAB and SWUathletics.com. Is that right?
Yes.
SWUathletics.com. We still don't have the official name for the show, but the reason for that is it's going to be a student-driven contest, and with the students coming back onto campus starting this weekend, that'll be something that'll be evolving over the next couple of weeks, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on that. Chris Williams, the AD. I'm Dan Scott, and let's talk a little bit about facilities. We touched on it briefly last week in kind of our overview again of how you got to the Division II level. And to me now it's starting with the beautiful front door you have coming off of Highway 93 and the brand new track facility you have out there.
Right. And so let's go back 5 years ago.
Yeah.
New president comes in and we bring on a consulting firm to start talking about vision. And so we gathered a number of different people from across campus, sat in a room like this and had the whiteboards, and we just started drawing stuff. Right? Man, it'd be great if we had this. And then we actually had the company, consulting group, draw a vision. And that vision is in my office. And every day I look at that thing and I pray that these things would come true. And in fact, some of the things have already come true. So I also drive in off of 93 and turn right every morning from my house and start to be thankful for the things that have occurred. You made mention of the track and soccer complex that's out there. So $1.3 million worth of fundraising that has happened, and donations from friends, donors, alums, new people, community members who are starting to invest in Southern Wesleyan.
I need friends with pockets like that.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. So just the beginning phases of that are starting to occur.
Yeah.
Some of it because of the NCAA. Some of it because they're interested in what's going on here. Some of it because they are really invested in Christian higher education.
So just kind of give us a little bit of an overview of what else is going on around campus, because it's not just that jewel piece sitting out there as you come in. There's been a lot of work going on if people haven't driven onto campus. I mean, there's dirt being moved out there now. I've noticed irrigation systems on the baseball and softball fields. So just kind of walk us through what's happening.
Well, almost every athletic venue is under construction, which is really awesome and really stressful at the same time. And so you mentioned baseball. Down there, we're in the middle of phase 2 of a 3-phase project. Phase 1 was to get the home dugout expanded, raise the roof, per se.
There you go.
As well as then added a clubhouse, which is completed. It's beautiful inside. It's got about 35 to 40 lockers in there for our baseball guys, as well as some other amenities, storage, restroom, wash area, those types of things there. Connected right onto the dugout, which is a nice touch for Division II. We also have added the irrigation this year, which we had never had the field had water on it, which was a huge problem for baseball, in particular in the summertime, trying to keep any grass growing on the field. So right now it looks a little bit dinged up because of that, but it'll grow back here, and probably within the next couple of weeks it'll look great. Softball is also in the middle of an irrigation project, and we will also be, because of NCAA rules and expectations, we have to raise our outfield fences from what they were at 4 feet to now 6 feet. So in the next week you'll start seeing that project come to fruition. And then obviously we've just completed the tennis courts, 6 new tennis courts with a state-of-the-art scoreboard. That ended up being about a $650,000 project that was all fundraised as well. We're trying to put some finishing touches on that with a water station, with signage, just to continue to add to that facility. So that's just a small snippet of what's going on. It's incredible. I told you this last week. It's incredible the size of our institution, the number of different things that are going on. And those are just some of the things in athletics. I mean, we're putting up a $9 million residence hall across from the baseball field. I mean, come on. It is ridiculous the amount, in a great way, the amount of dirt we are moving on this campus.
It would lead one to believe, and I'll be careful how I phrase this, because certainly there's no prosperity gospel being taught here, but you see everything that's happening, and for a school this small to be able to find the funding to do all these things, it tells me that God's hand is on this, because without Him, a school this size cannot come up with this kind of funding.
No. And I said this to you last week, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
It's unexplainable why this is happening. We can't explain it. And so that's where it gets into that whole supernatural thing. And people, when you start using words like that, people are like, man, you guys are weird. Yeah, I would say, yeah, we are. But yet, those are the things that we're chasing after, to say, man, God is in this, and look at what He's doing. And we can't even explain what is going to happen still. That's the exciting piece.
Yeah, still plenty to be done, right?
Still.
Yeah, including historic Tysinger. Is that on?
Yeah.
Is that on the agenda somewhere down the road?
So that's really for athletics. That's the Kingpin building, and we wanted to really move to get everything that's the outdoor venues done, and then to be able to come in and build that on the corner that would connect all the outdoor venues to the academic sector of campus. So it'll sit right in the middle, and there was purpose and meaning behind why we put it in the middle.
Right.
Because we never want to be seen as doing our own thing. So that building will connect it all. And that would allow us to move from here in historic Tysinger, where in the room we're in now, it's like 900 degrees, to a brand new facility that would feature offices. It would feature state-of-the-art competition gym, state-of-the-art practice facilities, locker rooms, venues for both our student athletes and all of our students to really work on wellness and recreation together.
It's just marvelous to walk around this campus and see everything that's going on. If you haven't done so, I encourage you to take a trip if you're close by. Heck, if you're not close by, make a Saturday day trip out of it and come over and see what's happening here. And I think you'll find, while there are a lot of opportunities at other bigger schools to go watch sports, there's also some high quality stuff going on here, and a lot of special things, as Chris said, that are happening here at Southern Wesleyan University. As we close out this week and we start to look ahead, we've talked about the men's soccer program a little bit today with Coach Berline. Obviously, you've got women's soccer that's starting as well. Hopefully, next week we'll be doing some of that. But what else is on the immediate agenda?
Well, I think you're gonna talk with Coach Morrell, whose team just got back from Costa Rica on a missions trip. I would hope that he would talk about that. Hearts that were changed, both on our team, but also hopefully the people that we were able to impact in the short time we were there. And then obviously Coach Reiniga, who is just so positive and energetic, and her promotion just recently as the associate AD, but also as she leads her volleyball team into the conference. And she's going to be one of the teams to watch in Conference Carolina volleyball action. So excited to have some of those conversations as we continue down this road together.
Looking to make an immediate impact at the D2 level, but not only on the competition side. That's what Southern Wesleyan University is looking to do. Again, enjoyed it, my man.
Yeah, love it.
That's Chris Williams, and you've been listening to and watching our half-hour focus on Southern Wesleyan University sports. Until next week, for Chris Williams, I'm Dan Scott. God bless you. So long, everybody.